So you can start, sir.
Hello all. Hope you have all done your exams good. And we at AKS always make sure that discussion is done as per how the subjects are taken. In a way, these environment related, geography related, history related questions are discussed, and so is polity related questions, and that is what I am going to discuss with you in today's paper. Before getting into that subject, if we look into the today's paper, how can we rate this paper? In a scale of 10, if you ask me, in a scale of 10, the toughness, if I have to rate, I will rate it 6 and off. And that 6 and off I am saying because the 18 questions that were from polity were the really easiest part, and people would have attended it comfortably. A decent study would be enough to attend those questions comfortably, and in that manner, this is a good note. But getting into other topics, there were little insight was needed in most of the questions. I will not say every question. Most of the question, if at all polity questions, those 18 would have also been made tougher. I will say the toughness level in the scale of 10 would have gone to 8, 7 and off at least to 8. Now I will put it 6.5. And as per what we hear, the number of people, students who have written this exam this time is also relatively low, and compared to last year's. And so the cutoff would be more or less the same or little less. Hopefully little less only, we can say, because the toughness is also a little more. Number of people writing. Number of people writing alone cannot determine, because the quality of students writing also matters. People who have really put their effort would have certainly gone to write. And in that manner, when we speak particularly about polity, past decade completely, after the change of the coming of CSAT and the 100 questions earlier, that 150 becoming 100, if we see this polity above 10 questions is normal. 10% of 100 questions has been normal. In 2017, 22 questions came, and this year it is 18. So more than 15%, 18% of the paper is polity. And very good note is, except 2 questions or 3 where little bit of a thought is needed, rest all were straight answerable questions. In that manner, it's good that they have not twisted the question that much, except for 1 or 2. And set C is the paper what we are going to see now, and we are going to discuss. And in that 81st question on, as a row, there are polity questions, except 2 questions, 87 and 100 are not there. So 18 questions, if you see, directly constitution and polity related questions. In that, 1 or 2 questions, I will say, relates to this philosophy of constitution, the idea behind the constitution. Those are the rest. Everything, if you see, it's straight from the articles or the polity part, either constitution or the polity part, that is the government in action, like questions on Aadhaar and PLADs and all, how legislatures, and go on with the regular actions. So with this initial note, we will head on to discuss this questions. So 81st question, if you see here, the question is, a parliamentary system of government is one in which See, this question in mains, even before prelims, has been asked. Mains cardinal principles of parliamentary form of government they have asked. Then prelims also they have asked the core idea of this parliamentary form of government. Likewise, but the answer keys differ. And here, if you see the first option, all political parties in the parliament are represented in the government. Absolutely, it is not the case. This question and all, if you see, we don't need much of in-depth knowledge. Basic idea, if we have also, it's enough. In India, do all the parties take part in government? All the parties that get represented in the parliament don't take part in government. If at all they take part in government, that becomes a national government. That becomes a national government actually. So they don't take part in government as such. So that doesn't happen. So here, this is not there, and the government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it. See, the first one is the example of national government actually that forms in 1914 England. It got formed, and where every party, political party, will have a representation in the government at crucial times that get formed. Government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it. Pretty straight one. The government article 75. I think this is class 3. Clearly says the group of the council of ministers are responsible to the lower house of the parliament, to the parliament. As simple as that, a straight one where they are responsible. This is the answer actually we could have arrived. Okay, other two, if you see general idea, the government is elected by the people and can be removed by them. People don't remove them. The representatives of people remove them. The government is elected by the people, no doubt, but not removed by them. Okay, so in that way it is not so. The government is chosen by the parliament, but cannot be removed by it before completion of fixed term. This is not America. In America, a 4 years term is there, so it cannot be removed. So that is again not there. Got it? So this is not there. Here, B is the answer here for this one. B is the answer. Okay, for 81. Now, 82. Which part of the Constitution of India declares ideal of welfare state? Again, asked question. It is an question that has been asked. Article 38, clause 1, welfare of the people. The very word is there. Straight, no doubt at all. TSPSC, part 4, answer. Then straight answer. Okay. So consider the following statements. This question requires a little bit of thought. I will not call it tough even. Little bit of thought actually. In a haste, we should not take, because there is a chance we may be misled. Okay, consider here also correct is what they are demanding from us. The Constitution of India defines its basic structure. You see the word defines its basic structure. It's not, basic structure is not defined. Yashwananda Bharati case said it, it's not defined. So the very start itself, you can simply call one shall not be there, and so cannot be. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. See, judicial review as a term is not there. They are not giving the word define. They are saying provides for judicial review. Numerous articles provides for judicial review, no doubt about it. Judicial review as a concept is very well entrenched in India. So there is no doubt about it. Constitution of India provides for judicial review. Yes, exactly. It do provide for judicial review and to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals of the Constitution of which the Constitution is based. Certainly, it is true. Ideals, aspirations, the civil liberties, judicial review, through judicial review. If at all fundamental rights are violated under Article 13, we can go to Supreme Court, and lot many, Article 32, lot many are involved, which give the power of judicial review to the Supreme Court. So 2 has to be right, and B alone should be the answer. B for Bombay. Again, is correct. 2 is correct. 1 is wrong here. Okay. Next one. This is again the philosophical part. One common agreement between Gandhiism and Marxism is the final goal of stateless society. Very interesting question. And in our classes, we do see this one actually on a regular basis. Whenever the thought of Gandhianism is told, it is spoken, stateless society. It is for this reason, Professor Dhawan, one of the very staunch followers of Mahatma Gandhi, even called him philosophical anarchist. And here, stateless society is what both, this is a state one actually, even we did not, abolition of private property is not spoken by Gandhi, nor class struggle, nor economic determinism. Actually, he was more into a spiritual form of trusteeship, is what he spoke in his Sarvodaya. So it's a stateless society. A is the answer. So Mahatma Gandhi, like Marxism, was Marx in his final stage of communism believed that state will wither away, and Mahatma Gandhi called state to be a exploitative mechanism, and so a stateless society where control and people's liberty, freedom are not curtailed. So A is the answer. It's a philosophical one. Then 85, in the context of India, which one of the following is a characteristic appropriate for bureaucracy? Civil services. Obviously, this question I hope all have attended, and also we have not done mistake in this. That's very important here, because it's all about that we are aspiring to become. An agency for widening the scope of parliamentary democracy. Not exactly. An agency for strengthening the structure of federalism. Nowhere near. It is in fact against it. Not against, I will say. It has a lot of trouble with federalism. An agency for facilitating political stability and economic growth. No, it has nothing to do with facilitating political stability actually. That is with regard to a single majority government or what form of a government that leads to political stability. So parties have a role there. An agency for implementation of public policy. See, this D is the answer here. Pretty straight one, D to be the answer. Last question, I think A is the answer, and here B is the answer. We have put that. D is the answer here, that it is pretty straight actually. And the agency for implementation of public policy. So that is for the reason why bureaucracy is there, and that is any Lakshmikant book, Lakshmikant Public Administration book. If you see that, the very term is there. So is other books on public administration, and it's a normal thought also, I would call it. Okay, implementation of public policy is the most important thing. Formulation or aiding in the formulation, and as well as implementation, both civil services or civil servants are required. It's an important. Okay, wonderful. 86. The preamble to the Constitution of India is wonderful. Part of the Constitution, but has no legal effect. Yes. It doesn't have absolute legal effect and all. Let us see, because there is another option there which has a relation with it. Not a part of the Constitution and has no legal effect either. This before 1973 was there, now not there. A part of the Constitution has the same legal effect as other part. No, not exactly. A part of the Constitution but has no legal effect independently of other parts. The most closest I will say to Keshwananda Bharati case, 1973. Okay, is this D. See, in Keshwananda Bharati case, it has been very clearly stated, preamble is part and parcel of the Constitution. Preamble plays an integral role in interpreting the provisions of the Constitution. The provisions of the Constitution are understood better, taken up better through the understanding of preamble. Preamble is the perspective, the lens through which an interpretation would be done by the court. So Keshwananda Bharati, clearly this is the most closest to the judgment that it's part of, and it has said as it is non-justiciable. But a part of the Constitution, when there is a doubt with any of the provisions in the Constitution, There you have to take up this preamble, the meaning of the preamble. What is the ideal? What is the aspiration? That we have to take up. With that, this happens. Hope you are getting it. 86. 87 is not related to polity, so we skip it. And with reference to 88, again, I'm making it very clear. This is 88. With reference to the provisions contained in Part 4 DPSP of the Constitution of India, which of the following statement is or correct? Okay, correct. They shall be enforceable by courts. No, they are not. They shall not be enforceable by courts. Article 37. Nevertheless, they shall not be enforceable in the court of law. Nevertheless, they are instrumental in the governance of the state. That is where the principles laid down in this part are to influence the making of laws by the state. Influence, same Article 37, you can find this also. And 2 and 3 has to be the answer. D is the answer for 88. 89. Again, straight one. Consider the following statements. According to the Constitution of India, a person who is eligible to vote can be made a minister in a state for 6 months, even if she is not member of legislature of state. That's pretty straight. Article 75 says that, and so is Article 164. Both these articles you can find. So any person can be made a minister provided 6 months he shall not, within 6 months he should become a member of either house of the parliament or state assembly or legislative council. So that's the case here. So A1 is right. So correct is what we have to find out. Then according to Representation of People's Act 1951, a person convicted of criminal offense and sentenced to imprisonment for 5 years is permanently disqualified from contesting an election even after his release from this. Permanent disqualification as a term is not there. And the Representation of People's Act, if you see, it speaks about Representation of People's Act 1951, Section 8, if I am not wrong, speaks about disqualification. And in that it clearly says 6 years from the date of conviction. That's all. Okay, 6 years from the date of conviction, they cannot be. 2 years or more if they are punished. 6 years from the date of conviction, they cannot stand in election. And that is what it is there. So permanently disqualified from contesting election even after the release. 2 is absolutely not there. It's a wrong statement. So pretty right. 1 has to be answer. So A is the answer here. A. Got it? A is the answer. 90. Consider the following statements. President of India can summon a session of the parliament at such place as he thinks fit. True. He can summon at such place he thinks fit. There is nothing like he has to specify the place actually. The place he shall. But the thing is that wherever it has to be, he can call for. Nothing wrong actually. And so this is right. The Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions. No, absolutely, it doesn't. The Constitution provides only for 2 sessions. Only for 2 sessions, Constitution provides. So in a year, but it is not mandatory to conduct all. No, Constitution doesn't provide. So 2 shall not be there. There is no minimum number of days that the Parliament is required to meet in a year. There is no minimum number of days. There is no minimum number of days. Yes, correct. So 1 and 3, C is the answer. There is no minimum number of days is true. That is one of the criticisms also, if minimum number of days could be there. This question is a little bit of in polity question 2, 3 I said. This is one, little bit of an attention is required. This again, Aadhaar metadata cannot be stored for more than 3 months. Wonderful. It it is 6 months. So, no. 1B not there, not there. State cannot enter into any contract with private corporations for sharing Aadhaar data. After the verdict, yes, you can keep. But more than that, too, also, if you see, this voluntary basis they can and all such things, but it speaks about any contract. Let us keep it in hold. Let us see 3. Because if you see 3 only is there, if 3 is wrong, then obviously we will arrive at the answer easily. Aadhaar is mandatory for obtaining insurance product. After the verdict, it has been made very clear. IRDAI has said that it is voluntary. You cannot mandatory say voluntarily. If someone uses it, it can be taken, and they have even where it's very clear that 4 digits they have to take, rest they have to keep it safely and all such things. So this is again wrong. This is again wrong, and so this 3 is wrong. B is the answer here, and again the pen is creating. Okay, this is wrong. B, 2 and 4. Even without reading 4, we can get at the answer. If we know this 2 to be wrong, 1 and 3. Okay, Aadhaar is mandatory for getting benefits out of consolidated. It has been made mandatory. Many states are preparing for it. That's what the truth is. Rajya Sabha has equal powers with Lok Sabha in matters creating Article 312. No, Rajya Sabha has more power, not equal power. Amendment of the Constitution, it has equal power. B, answer, finished. B. Removal of the government, no, it doesn't have much of power, no power. Making cut motion, only Lok Sabha has got power. Article 9 at the section, question 93. This is again little bit of an attention has to be there. Not tough one. With reference to the funds under MPLAT, this was an expected question. MPLAT was expected. Which of the following statements are correct? Okay, fine. Let us see. MPLAT fund must be used to create durable assets like physical infrastructure for health, education, etc. True. A specified portion of each MP's fund must benefit. Okay, done. True. SCST. MPLAT fund are sanctioned on yearly basis, and the unused funds cannot be carried forward to the next year. No, absolutely not. It can be carried forward. See, 3 should not be there. Okay. The district authority must inspect at least 10% of all works under implementation. Right. Absolutely right. Okay. So D is the answer. Straight one. There is not much of thought is not required. Which one of the following categories of fundamental rights incorporates protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? Article 17, protection against untouchability. Where does Article 17 come? 12 is state. 13, judicial review. 14 to 18 speaks about right to equality. Is it there? B. D is the answer. Many people, there is a confusion. Exploitation suddenly we may go. No, 23, 24. This is Article 17. D is the answer. Right to equality. In India, separation of judiciary, 95th question, from the executive is enjoined by. Pretty straight one. Article 50. Directive principles of state policy. Happy, like, good. At least polity has been pretty straightforward. They're not confused much. This question requires very good thought. Tough question. I will call out of polity. This is tough question. Rest all 1 or 2 is little thought required questions. This is really a tough in the sense little more than a thought process they have asked for. This anyway is current affairs. Budget this 2021 in the Indian government site, if you see, it's very clearly that with regard to Indian very government side itself, budget 2021, if you see key points they have given in that which are taken from where, it's very clearly given, and it's current affairs too. And only thing what we get to know from these questions is that how UPSC expects us to see a question or an information. So generally who submits and all, when and what are all the documents. More than that, is that document stated anywhere in the Constitution or any law? and things like that. So here the finance minister also places other documents apart from budget before the parliament, which include macroeconomic framework statement. The aforesaid document is presented because this is mandated by. See Article 12, 110, Clause 1, 113. 113 speaks about estimates, and 112 annual financial statement it speaks about. 110 money bill it speaks about. These all speak about the primary items, annual financial statement, and the estimates, demand for grants, and all it did speak. But this macroeconomic framework statement and medium and this financial policy is purely the outcome of this one. Provision of fiscal respite for FRBM Act 2003. This is even before, not the same question related to FRBM, it has been asked. But this I will say FRBM not relating to economics, it is relating to polity and FRBM question. It's a very fine question, and please have a look maybe in our site itself. The information regarding it will be put from where it is and available, and it is taken also. So FRBM Act, it is very clearly there, which are all the documents that are there. This and all clearly shows that what UPSC is expecting, how much more we have to go and see. Okay, that is again very much more. That is the two documents are taken in the whole budget from FRBM Act. From that it follows. Then 97, it's a philosophical part. A constitutional government by definition is, this question has been asked but not the same way. Limited government related question. It's a limited government directly. Constitutional government, when you say it's limited government, even without seeing, yes, government by legislature. Without a constitution also you can have a government by legislature. UK is an example. Popular government, any government elected by people, popular government. Multi-party government, again, multi-parties can be there even when there is no constitution. Constitution government, limited government, and by limited government what we mean? A government which is not arbitrary and where the government's powers are curtailed. A government which is not arbitrary and limited government, when we say a government's power is curtailed by the constitution. Government cannot act arbitrarily, simple D. 98. Other than fundamental rights, which of the following parts of the Constitution of India reflects the principles or provisions of Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1940? They themselves have given other than fundamental right. If you very clearly see, one is fundamental right, preamble, right from preamble, DPSP, fundamental. Oh, this is not right actually here. Duty just. Sorry, I think in printing they have done a mistake. Duty. So 1, 2, 3, D has to be the answer here. It's pretty straight one. All the 30 articles of PC, it's very clear how it notes actually. So fundamental, mostly covered under fundamental right. DPSP does it cover. Then preamble, absolutely, it speaks about justice, equality, liberty. Preamble gets attracted. Fundamental duty, to ensure, it is a duty of every citizen to ensure brotherhood, to promote scientific temper and a coherent living, fraternity and all. So those things, if you see, fundamental duty also is part of it. So 1, 2, 3 has to be the answer. It is also straight one. 99. This question, if you see, this one, again, 4 they have not put here. 4 has to be there. Here. Okay. All senior citizens. It would be that. Okay. 4th one. And fine. In Legal Services Authority, this is where the whole issue 1995 came into force. 87. Legal Services Authority 95 came into force. And if you see, correct answer they are asking, person with annual income of less than 1 lakh. See here, less than 1 lakh is there, but every state this also differs. Transgender with an annual income of less than 2 lakh. This is in Delhi, that is the case, less than 2 lakh. But everywhere again you cannot simply put it. And the members of OBC with an annual income of less than 3 lakh, which I have not come across. I am saying it. This question I say like the answer could be any. We have to wait for UPSC, but I will say what could be a most probable answer. All senior citizens. See, all senior citizens, it is not there. Even that Nalsa site itself, if you take and see, it will be very clear. These are all things even before exam. Normally we have to read who are eligible for legal aid. Every book carries it. And in that also, if you see, states determine actually all senior citizens. For example, Delhi, if you take 2 lakh for transgender ceiling, and even for senior citizen, not all senior citizens. Above 60, 2 lakh and less. Everyone 1 lakh and less is there. So in this manner, how this is really, it depends upon state to state. Again, that's an issue. So what I will say, having the options given here, 1 and 2 could be the more appropriate one. All senior citizens, no, it's not the case. States differ. So A could be the answer, is what I say. It can be D also, or okay. Even Penny is not writing. Okay, so it could be A. Okay, anyway, you put it this way, or it has to be D also. And this one, this 99th question, we give the answer as A. And because at least these 2 criteria is straight to state in Delhi, but many states it keeps on differing. It keeps on differing in states actually. And so one is more or less there in most of the states. Option 1. Rest all the option differs like anything. So it can be D also, but again, all senior citizens is not there. For example, if you take even in Delhi, 2 lakh is the income ceiling. Below 2 lakh, it has to be. If not, they cannot get free legal aid. So that is the case. So A or D, A, we go with A. That is what any paper 1 or 2 will be like that. But this time, out of the 18 questions, what we have seen, hardly, with this, this gets over, and hardly we see this questions to be tough. And in fact, it is because having gone through the paper, I can very confidently say it is because of these 18 questions. And in that particularly 15 or cakewalk like questions, a person who has prepared decently will certainly be able to answer. That would certainly make him feel the answer of the paper is good. Okay. If other than that, a general take, if you want me to go for, I have already told my count in the scale of 10, the toughness, how tough is this paper, I will call it 6.5. And because polity, this 15% of the questions is like, it's open for all. So in that manner, I will say, rest all the questions, here and there, easy, straight questions were there, but other places, you need little more of a concentration. And history and culture, we did see, we would have seen discussed also, and so little bit of insight is required on those items, depth is required, and rest everything we see. So let us hope that in a day or two, cut off this one, we can analyze how it is. And I think the number of people who wrote, coupled with the toughness of the paper, so we can expect little bit of a fall from last year. Certainly a little bit of a fall, and if it goes down more, it's very good only. And this is my take on this paper, and hopefully we all meet for mains preparation. It's very happy to discuss this with you and concerning polity, and all the best wishes that you all clear the exam very well. Okay, thank you all. Thank you.